Might take a while for things to catch up. Actually, I could probably just turn on myself.
Joe says that he can hear us now. So.
Oh, yeah. Apparently you fixed it. Better than like tomorrow's, like end of the stream, end of the campaign.
That's true.
Oh, Chuba says it went away again.
Oh no.
Ba, 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 ba.
It's
It's
just
just Cliff
Cliff.
that we can't hear. Ah, that's good information. As Cliff decides to run gremlin
Sure.
attacks.
All right, how about now?
Well, we'll see.
I have things moving on meters, so I'm optimistic that we can all be heard now.
Tuba is our canary in the coal mine here.
So yeah, as we were saying, lots of technical difficulties tonight, but you know it's a pretty chill stream, so that's okay. We're just hanging out.
It seems like you are coming through. You're a little bit low compared to the others.
I've got the volume cranked up, but yeah, it does look like you're louder. Maybe I'll just turn you down so it doesn't seem like I'm lower.
Turn me down. Turn me down.
Go ahead and talk
Anyway.
some more, Opti.
Hey, that's what I do best. Talk.
All right, I think I've got the volume dialed in for you. Maybe I'll add a boost to mine.
Well, since nobody could hear it when I said it originally, we are only $88 or so away from hitting psychic powers. So we need psychic powers.
I've heard those are one of the popular desired features.
Yeah, it is the first stretch goal, and I know Joe or Clockwork Tuba is particularly looking forward to it. So, yeah, definitely going to be a cool one. I put a lot of like cool things in for early stretch goals that will just add a lot to the game. So, hoping to hit some of those. The Psychic MOS is going to be fun. Talked a little bit about some of my ideas for that. Though for the most part, haven't really put a lot of thought into exactly what the psychic powers are going to be. But I'm pretty sure the Psychic MOS is going to favor presence as their MOS trait, because that's the one for like thinking and using your brain and stuff. So there's that. The recommended terrible trait is probably going to be strength, because the psychic person probably isn't going to lean too hard into physical and melee. They're going to get the same starting standard equipment as the other MOSs, so basic armor, pistols, and bullets. Not much else. Ration pack, I think. But other than that, on their equipment table, there will probably be some sort of like new items that are interesting or useful for a psychic character, besides some of the usual suspects, like maybe a combat knife that you could roll up or some extra bullets. Because, you know, the psychic character is still going to be relying on the weapons like the other Hellslayers. As far as the other powers go, though, the only one I have like a solid idea for is when it's like a psychic attack, and you would attack using your presence instead of agility, so a little bit different than a normal attack roll. And if you hit, then you get to sacrifice some of your own hit points to do damage based on how many hit points you sacrifice. And it'll be a pretty solid return on investment, something like D6 damage for every hit point you sacrifice, or maybe D4. I'm not sure which, but it'll bypass armor. Maybe there'll be a psychic armor built into the game. I'm not sure. But that's pretty much what I had so far to think of. So there's room for about 5 more different psychic powers, because each MOS has 6 different powers to, I would say, choose from, but you have to roll randomly. So what do you guys think? What do you think would be some neat psychic powers to include in the game, assuming we hit the first stretch goal?
You asking me and Elizabeth or the crowd?
Anyone who can hear me, whoever that might be. Maybe it's just the two of you, or maybe it's the people in the chat.
I think everybody can hear you now.
Okay, good.
I think it would be kind of cool that if they had a power that maybe they could sense the enemies in the next room, and maybe that will not allow the team to be ambushed.
That
or
is
something
cool.
like that.
There is already an item that can do that, the scout drone, but I don't think it would hurt to have some overlap as long as there's something unique to it. What the scout drone lets you do is you basically send it ahead of you. Game mechanics wise, it lets you avoid an ambush if there is one, but there is a potential of it getting damaged. So I think doing that would just sensing what's there and avoiding ambushes would be cool. But I think that there ought to be some other extra something to it to make it more unique. So, but that's a good one.
Okay, so here's a weird one. Yeah, I was gonna say a sort of clairvoyance, but like the way it would play out is like if you went into a room or whatever and like you didn't like what happened, you can just like go back to, like, you could pretend it never happened, just like once in the whole game. You can just go back to like almost like a save point, and you could call it like you had a premonition of everybody dying, or you had a premonition of something bad happened, so you decided to like try a different course of action.
So a bit of a tangent here, but I once used Neverwinter Nights with a full conversion mod for it to play to GM a campaign of Firefly, and it was a lot of fun. But the very first time we played, like the characters return back to the ship, and they're coming back and they're boarding the ship for the first time during the campaign, but there's some bad guys there waiting to ambush them. Well, essentially, the dice rolls went so badly in favor of the characters that we ended up with the TPK in like the first several minutes of the campaign. But one of the characters was sort of River Thames psychic whatever. So we played it that like, hey, we're gonna do a redo. You have to get a premonition that you all go in there and get killed like that. But now we're gonna start the scene over. But what's in there and what you just experienced as a premonition. So I think that would be neat. I could see doing something like a lower powered precognition where you could use the power regularly, but maybe if you pump a badass point or some hit points into it or something, it lets you sort of see farther ahead, which essentially would let you rewind. Or maybe we could just theme it more video game style, like call it a reboot or
save point.
Interesting. Yeah,
Andrew from last night's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it would definitely have some sort of cost to it. I think all the psychic powers are going to have some sort of weird, potentially nasty drawback, but they'll all be like really badass too.
Andrew from last night's game. Yeah, that's what I was getting to say too.
Go ahead.
A zone push power.
Yeah, like a force push thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking and imagining it too, like using like a psychic push to push them into the next zone.
That's a cool idea.
That is a neat idea. Stupid toxic zombies.
Yeah, those were pretty nasty. You handled them pretty well last night, though.
Yeah, because we just kept throwing Olaf at them.
Especially in that one room where I like set it up where there's a toxic zombie in each one of the zones. That was That was pretty nasty. Yeah, to deal with the boss on top of that. So
But we all lived.
yeah, sort of. I mean, like one of you definitely, two of you definitely died. You just didn't stay dead because the
Yeah,
badass medic.
they were fine. They were brought back.
So if I do the attack spell thing, clairvoyance, precognition / rewind, and force push, it's just what I'm calling them for now. I got room for 2 more.
Clockwork says telekinetic field. As long as the psychic spends an action to keep it active, they count as cover. And Olaf says stabby stab.
I think that's what knives are for, and spears and swords and things like that. So, or cyber blades. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think there ought to be like a mind control thing in there too, where you can take over an enemy, and make them do your bidding, fight on your help them fight, help you fight the other enemies. So
Oh, that's a fun idea too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got the on my notes. I've got them listed as mana bolt, clairvoyance, precog / rewind, force push, telekinetic field, and mind control. So yeah, we could. If anyone else has an idea, though, like we don't have to stop at 6. I have to pare it down to 6 on my end when I write the thing. But yeah. So yeah, I think that'll be a good set of psychic powers to work from. Good ideas. But yeah, again, if anyone else has a suggestion, feel free to keep them coming. And yeah, there's certainly no reason we couldn't expand the MOSs down the road as well. Maybe give an alternate table to roll from that has more options, or like a bigger die result, or just a different set of options. That could be neat.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see like an elite power table where, like, if you're bringing back your promoted character for the epilogue mission, you could maybe roll for like a special power that's like over the top compared to the ones you normally get. That could be fun because yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned, with this, Hellslayers has like a built-in campaign ending, just similar to Morkborg, where sort of enough stuff happens and the world ends. But I've built something into that where, depending on how well you've done as Hellslayers, there's a chance that humanity will survive in the stars. Earth, not so much. It's toast, but no matter what you do. But one of the aspects of that is there's an epilogue mission where you get to bring back whichever previous Hellslayer you've played that has survived. And that includes basically, if a Hellslayer completes 3 missions, they get promoted and they're too important to send on suicide missions. So you don't see them again. That's essentially a way to keep the campaign fresh, bringing in new characters, but you do get to start the next one with bonuses, of course. But yeah, having the option to bring them back at the very end to play maybe your most successful character of the campaign on the desperate final mission sounded like a fun option to me, and maybe they can come with some sort of extra special bonuses if you do that. That could be fun.
I like the idea of, if you bring your MOS back, then, or your Hellslayer back, that you have like a special table that you can roll on that gives you like an extra special power or something. I think that's a fun idea.
Yeah, I think maybe there would be like one chart of special powers that it would be common to all the MOSs instead of just a whole bunch of them. But like, because you really only get to use them for one mission anyway, and it's a more limited thing. But I think that would be more useful than coming up with a whole bunch of tables for something you're only going to use once.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys got really good use out of badass points last night, I thought.
Yes, we did.
Especially
we did.
Your medic one came in handy. I think you were able to do some healing.
Yeah, I was able to use my special power. I was able to use the nanites to bring back somebody else. I think a lot of us, I don't think I did, but I think two of the other players used a lot of their badass points to heal themselves because we just got really unlucky and didn't get very many stim packs or med packs.
It took you. I think you finally found a med pack pretty much at the very end of the session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, then at that point though, I think going into the next section would have been even a little bit better equipped with a rocket launcher and medical supplies and you're fairly low on bullets even after looting the big final fight because you guys ended up using lots of bullets.
Yeah, we went through some bullets last night.
Opti's played Hellslayers with me, but it's been a while. I think it was some of the earlier playtest versions.
Yeah, it was at least last year.
I want to say
very
it was
early
after Origins, the first Origins after the pandemic, because we were hanging out.
That would have
at Andy
been what,
Cohn's
22? Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, we're hanging out at Andy's house the day after the con. Before we're gonna head out our separate ways. You driving down to Texas and me back to Wisconsin. But yeah, I busted that out. The idea at that point was I was thinking about making it into a board game, which would have been a fun thing, but it's too expensive to do that for what I mean. Yeah, if I had the possibility of a much higher Kickstarter goal, then maybe a board game would work, but I wasn't confident about us hitting board game numbers.
We just had to charge way more per pledge for board games.
Yep. So yeah, I was like, this will work as a book. And it does.
I have to say that fulfilling Subversion's Kickstarter is much less stressful than fulfilling Gangs of the Undercities.
Oh yeah, that took a long time. Yeah, through no fault of your own.
Yeah,
you get so many problems with manufacturers.
Yeah, it was a pretty stressful time.
Yeah, but talking about bringing up Subversion, how's that going? I haven't really touched base with you on Subversion in a while. I'm technically one of the authors, but I was more involved in the earlier side of things.
Yeah. We are at the point now where the first two sections, the basics and the advanced rules, are done and laid out. Section 3 is like we're putting the art where we want it right now. But the text is basically done. We're doing two things simultaneously right now. We're placing the art in each different section. And we are finishing up the very last section that we need to finish up, which is basically just lore. Like all the lore is written, and the problem is it's too much lore. So we're sort of trying to pare it down, make sure that it's sort of delivering things in the best way for best bang for the amount of space we're giving it. And arranging that. So that's at the end though. So most of the text is done. The layout is happening. And then we plan on, as intended, releasing the PDF in December. We think that, although we did say that we had planned on December for sending out the physical copies, I don't think we're going to do that on purpose. We could do it as soon as the PDF is done, but I think what we're going to do is send out the PDFs and then have everybody get eyes on it as much as possible, and then wait 2 to 4 weeks for feedback, and then make any sort of last minute adjustments and sort of proof things that we might need to do. Instead of having to push out erratas, after the fact.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah.
Give everybody first shot at it. Everybody who's passionate about it, and then we'll probably push play near the end of December and have the books out in January. That's where we are now.
Sweet. Looking forward to that.
Me too.
It is a long time coming. for sure.
Definitely. And gangs, how's that going? There still plans for some events for that, or are we done running events for gangs for now?
Well, gangs, I don't actually know if I can talk about this. But what
I
what
wasn't
I will
necessarily trying to bait you into the thing that you might not be able to talk about. But,
um so what I can say is that gangs development and play is on hold for now. The game is still being sold. So if you want to buy it, or if you want to buy the figures, you can still go to fragmentunicorns.com and grab that. But the development and any future things for it are on hold right now while we discuss a potential sale or partnership of the game itself. And yeah, so that's kind of fun. I think I'll have to stop right there. I think the people who are involved in that have made some announcements as well. But again, I'm not going to connect the dots. So I'll just leave it there.
all right. Sounds good. I know what it is, so,
I know. Don't say nothing.
Yeah. I will say nothing, actually.
But I will say it was a good time to be a fan of cyberpunk fantasy miniatures.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. It'll be fun.
Had some really fun meetings this week about it.
So regarding stuff maybe that you can talk about, we are coming towards the end of another Fragging Unicorns Games Kickstarter. And
Yeah.
the Hellslayers book, of course, will be coming out June of next year, or maybe even earlier, depending on. I might finish it before then.
It'd be really cool to have it for the cons. So
Yeah, so I think we could probably make that happen. But after that, what's next for Fragging Unicorns games? What other games do we have coming up on the horizon? I know we discussed some ideas, but I'm not sure.
Well, let me pull up our Discord full of. Let's see, how do I get out of full screen mode? There we go.
Yeah, you and I had been talking about the idea of doing a another Morkborg hack.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Brainstormed
The
that
one
at Origins this last year.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. That one's really fun. It's always in the back of my head, but I only really have enough brain power for one thing at a time. So Subversion right now, we're gonna keep developing Subversion. So expect things to keep coming out for Subversion every year from now on.
So what do you think the first Subversion source book or splat book or
well,
whatever's going to be?
So this kind of came out of left field a little bit, but the Germans, that is our German partners, are making a German language version of Subversion, and they are going to have some German supplements or supplemental German setting information in their book. And we are going to release that. Probably not like any sort of like Kickstarter or anything like that, but it will be released as a sort of supplement. And then we will probably either. Well, let's see. We have like a sort of player's handbooky type thing where like you give player facing options, like with more lineages and more I can't remember my own game, the thingies that you pick to make your character good at things.
Enhancements?
What they're called.
No, I'm thinking gangs. Darn it.
Yeah,
Paradigms.
Oh, thank you. Paradigms. That's exactly it. Thank you. So yeah, more paradigms and more lineage options and more cultures and just expansions of player facing options. And then let's see what else. We also have a couple of setting books that we'd like to do. And maybe a possible so in Subversion, the world of Neo Babylon, we have Atlantica, which is sort of our America's analog, and we're not doing a lot with it right now because what we'd like to do is give that to a bunch of indigenous writers to make their own game based on that. Like, so it'll be in the world of Neo Babylon using the same rules as Subversion, but it'll be basically another game or another setting, however you want to frame that. But it'll be in the world of Neo Babylon, but sort of a self-contained RPG, but compatible with Subversion in North Atlantica.
Clockwork Tube in the chat in all caps. Paradigms.
Yes. I've been absolutely like in writing in the wrong section to forget all this, but let's see. So what else? We could have another couple things. Oh, a couple of adventures that are on tap to go live when we fulfill, and also to be released next year. And I have a couple of adventures that I would like to write, like full big ass adventures. But yeah, those are the things that are sort of in the forefront, but that could always change. As far as the rest of the most upcoming stuff with Fragging Unicorns, probably the next Kickstarter thing that we'll do is our mythological creature dating sim card game called Myth Connections.
You've been sharing a lot of art from that on social media.
Yeah, I've kind of stopped more recently just because I sort of doubling down on my efforts to get Subversion out. But yeah, we have a whole mess of art for Myth Connections, and like it's basically just anthropomorphic mythological creatures doing their best to find true love. And that's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be amazing, and it's just cards, so it's pretty easy to produce, and I think everybody's gonna really like that one. It's gonna be a lot of fun to play. And then personally, I have two that I'm working on solo, and I don't know when those are gonna come out, but a superhero hack of Misspent Youth and another hack of Misspent Youth that's going to be basically werewolves falling in love. So,
okay.
Which is a totally weird thing, but there it is. Yeah, we also have a bunch of like Rainborg is the one that Cliff and I will get around to working on. I think we're waiting for like a good artist, and then like once I get a good artist,
I thought you had an artist lined up for that.
I have, but busyness and questionable ability to fulfill things means that maybe not. So
okay, yeah, that's definitely going to be an art heavy book.
Yeah.
So art would be a big part of that.
I think that's it. We have a couple of games that are like sort of always brewing in the background, but it'll be quite a while before any of those come to fruition. So, but yeah.
So Clockwork Tube mentioning that a friend of theirs has suggested a Subversion hack in space, with the community rules being the ship and how to maintain it. I think that would be fun, but I think you had some other ideas for a space game someday, maybe.
Yeah, we do have a. It won't be a Subversion hack. It'll just be a game with more or less Subversion rules set in space. I don't really want to give away too much, but if let's see how many people are eight people are watching now. What if I just said that it would take place in Subversion's future, and be somewhat lore connected? I think I can just say that to the 8 people watching, and if you get excited about that, then great. If not, then that's fine too. Nice. And I've had to change the name. Both the the space game and the superhero game, I picked out names for them, and in the last 2 years since I picked out names for them, RPGs have come out with both of those names, and it makes me so sad. Every time somebody takes the name of a game I haven't made yet, I'm like, no.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So Elizabeth, what kind of stuff have you been playing lately? You mentioned you were doing tech for a stream tomorrow as well. So I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I do a lot of Power Ranger stuff. I'm doing a Power Ranger stream tomorrow, where I'm playing hold on, which one am I tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm the Blue Ranger. I am doing an actual play podcast, and it's Power Rangers, and I'm the Red Ranger for that. And we have finished recording our second season. The first has been released. The second will be released hopefully soon. And then hopefully we'll start recording the third season, because that's been a lot of fun.
What's that
I
called,
also
and where do people find it?
Oh, right. It's Becoming Mighty and Morphin, and you can find it. It's the Alternia Archives. So anywhere you can get your podcast, you can find it. But the podcast itself is called Becoming Mighty and Morphin. And then tomorrow I will be over at twitch.tv/Master of Ram for Power Rangers. I also do it's called Wall of the Worlds. It's going to be a new Prowlers and Paragons setting, which is superheroes. And for this particular one, it's an isekai portal fantasy game.
So get hit by a
Using
bus
the
and wake up in a new magic world.
plane crash. Actually,
Okay.
we were in a plane crash. Yeah, we were on our way to Bermuda, and we woke up in a new world, and now all of a sudden we all have these weird powers. And that's been a lot of fun to explore that world and to come up with our powers. We actually didn't know what powers we were going to get. We kind of told the GM where we saw our character going and stuff like that, and then he made our character sheets, and he wouldn't give them to us until after we started to develop our powers. So we had no idea going into it what we were going to be able to do. So that's been a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm recording Scum and Villainy. I'm running Blades in the Dark for a podcast, which uses Forged in the Dark, and yeah, that's what I'm up to right now.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Actually,
You are prolific. Yeah.
Play Scum and Villainy with you. We're recording a podcast, I think, for the Alternia Archives. Just a one season. I think we're shooting for 8 episodes, give or take.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've gotten to play it.
Yeah, that was kind of how it came about. I was chatting with you at Origins this year, and you mentioned that you're basically always the GM for Forged in the Dark games, and I was like, I've been wanting to do Scum and Villainy. I will GM that for you.
I was so excited when you messaged me saying that you were gonna do it, because I always GM it. I never get to play it, so I was very excited.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We've had is it 3 sessions now, or was it 2? I'm losing track.
I think
already.
it's 3.
Yeah, I think 3 seems right.
3.
Yep, it's been exciting so far. Lots of fun stuff going on.
Yep.
I'm interested to find out what's going to happen with the big plot MacGuffin thing as it gets a robot body and you find out more things about it. But yeah, that'll be fun. We'll be posting that on the Alternia Archives eventually. So we're probably going to wait till it's all recorded before it's released, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the way we normally do it. Get all the recordings and then get it all edited and put up there. So but yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. We've got a fun cast for that as well. Yep, yourself, and we have Cassie from original box set, and Zafira, who's hadn't been on a stream with me in quite some time before. The last one we did together, I think, was Demi-Humans. Opti was there for that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
it's funny. I have you heard anything about Demi-Humans? Because it was given by Rob to someone else besides us. At the same time, he gave Us Misspent Youth.
That's the last I heard of it. I thought it was pretty much just falling by the wayside, but maybe someone out there is going to do something with it. That would be awesome. 'Cause that was a really
Yeah.
really fun game. I really had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, the fourth player would be Ava, who is a REM veteran.
Yeah. Yeah, I've played with everybody. This is my first time playing with names. Sahara. So
Zafira?
yes, thank you. But it's been a lot of fun.
Yep, good times. So, looking forward to getting that out to the world as well. But actually, looking forward to playing more of it first.
Me too.
It's pretty much like been my excuse, or my not my excuse, my method for like if there's a role playing game that I really wanted to play for a long time, and I want to get a chance to really check it out, do some sort of a podcast or stream thing, and then it tends to happen a bit more like that. I did that with Earth Dawn. Legends of Earth Dawn ran for quite a while. I actually still have to put out episodes for that yet that haven't been released. So, but that was a fun campaign. Opti was there for that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think you were actually able to make your player character canon with your writing opportunities that came up from hanging out with Josh.
Indeed. That's the only thing I ever wrote, but for Earth Dawn.
Well, let's see. Anyone in the chat have any questions they want to ask us? We're just kind of here hanging out as we're getting towards the end of the Kickstarter campaign for Hellslayers, and all right. I clicked on things on my streaming computer. I hope I didn't mess anything up, but I had to click it all back.
See any updates on the
delicate? Yeah, I was going to look to see where we're at.
Looks like $88.
Okay, hasn't moved since we started streaming, but yeah, it went up a lot since yesterday. That's the most movement we've seen on it since much earlier in the campaign. We got to full funding, 5K pretty quickly, less than or before our first week was out, and then had another week or so of like it creeping up there a little bit more every day, and then pretty much nothing until till a day or two ago. But actually not just nothing. I actually got to see like people drop off. It's always a little bit frightening and discouraging, but I understand it happens.
Yeah, it's the most stressful part of the Kickstart experience is the 3 weeks in between where you take everything personally. You're like checking it every day, and you're like, "What did I do wrong?"
I think I did a pretty good job of managing that this time. Like most days, I didn't check it more than once or twice per day. That was very, very deliberate. I've definitely had my occasions where I'm obsessively hitting the refresh button every few minutes, but those haven't been as often, I think, as some other campaigns I've been involved with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a little bit more of a chill campaign. I knew it wasn't going to be like big numbers because I did not have any money to advertise. It's pretty much just all relying on word of mouth and seeing who likes it. And I'm encouraged that everyone that I've introduced the game to that has gotten a chance to play it has walked away going, "That was fun," or actually even more enthusiastic than that. Like Clockwork ran his own actual play stream, and Brandon, I think. Yeah, I'm used to seeing a different username on him. Brandon, I think, pretty much started a Hellslayers community with its own Discord server. We've got some people spreading the word about it pretty enthusiastically, so that's really fun to see. As a game designer, just that, you try things out in different ideas, and you try to make a good game. What you think is fun might not be what other people think is fun, but when it turns out to be, that's a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of fun to play.
Thank you. And especially good coming from you, considering your first experience with Hellslayers.
Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah. It was my very first the not last night, but the last stream for Gen Con was the first time I had read through the book, the PDF that you had given me, but I had never played it before, and it is really easy to pick up. It's really easy. The rules, it's just seamless. You go in, you spend a few minutes making your character, and then you can jump right in. If when you die several times like I did, it doesn't take any time to just make a new one and jump
Yeah.
right back into the action.
You had a lot of opportunity practicing making new characters in that stream.
I did.
There was so much death. Like
Yeah.
a new wave of Hellslayers goes in, manages to take one more of the enemies out before they're slaughtered, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times. But yeah, having that experience where you died and died and died and died, and then ultimately failed the mission because we ran out of time, and there was just
Yeah.
so many dead Hellslayers. But walking away going, "Wee!"
Exactly. Exactly. It was still, even with all the death, it was so much fun. And I was so excited to jump back into it last night. And knowing that I was probably going to die like many, many more times, I didn't even care. I just wanted to play.
Yeah, that was sort of the attitude I went in when I got a chance to play Morkborg for the first time at a ReaperCon when I was down visiting Opti. Not last year, but the year before. Not this year, but last year, I think it was. There was a guy who was running a Morkborg game, and he had this really cool like visual dungeon set up. It was like all set up with terrain, and there were multiple layers. And as we go through, he'd like take more layers off, and like the whole thing was visually represented. It was really neat. But as far as character creation goes, he just like used Scumbirther, which is a Morkborg character creator thing. You just click a button, it spits out a character for you with all the stats.
That's awesome.
I took the first one off the top, and like I saw under character traits, believes he cannot die or cannot be killed. I'm like, okay, that's a fun roleplay thing to roleplay. And I looked at my hit points, 1. So yeah, that character confidently walked into the dungeon and immediately died by falling in a pit. My second one managed to survive, but only by sacrificing the NPC we were sent in to rescue to the evil god, and pledging to be its priest and spread the word, etc. So that was a very metal ending.
That sounds like a good time, though.
Yeah. So yeah, there were lots of character deaths in that one, but it's like if somebody dies, like, oh, all right, hey, there's a filthy prisoner there that you just helped escape. Looks like they're going to join your party. Grab another character sheet. I mean, I think people were welcome to look through and pick the characters they wanted, but I felt it made more sense to just take the first one off the top and then grab the next one without looking at it. But yeah, generally speaking, most of the Hellslayers games that I've run, it's usually been kind of tough. But, there's definitely not something where they feel like, yay, we're invincible. But usually everyone makes it out, or almost everyone. But yeah, that one stream where there was just the two of you against the space Nazis.
Yeah, we failed. But we had a good time
Nazis
doing
win. Oh no.
Unfortunately. Yep. So it was also in part
it does
because
sometimes happen.
The space fascists have this thing where they take captives and use conscripts. And if you defeat the space fascists in the room, the conscripts will give up and you get a reward for rescuing them. But until you do that, they are essentially going to be shot if they don't fight hard. So the conscripts try to beat you to death with their wrenches and pipes and things. So if you're unwilling to occasionally take out a conscript here and there, you will pay the price in hit points.
And we did. We did.
Yes.
Tuba and I made the decision early on that we were going to try to save all of the conscripts, and that was a bad decision on our part.
Try
Because
to
we
save
died a
all of
lot.
them.
We did. We tried to save all of them. And to our credit, we didn't kill any of them. We did not fight any of them. The ones that died died by the hands of the other enemies, not by our hand.
Yeah, they'll kill their own conscripts if they're in the way of the flamethrowers. So, and Joseph in the chat saying they appreciated the preview. They found it only because they were wondering if there were other Morkborg Kickstarters going on. So, yeah, thank you for that. what Joseph is referring to is I have posted up the early access PDF of Hellslayers on DriveThruRPG as a pay what you want title. So you can grab it for free or, throw more money at me. Though, honestly, if you back the Kickstarter, though, don't put any money in for the pay what you want. It's just there to download easy. But it's also just there if someone wants to check it out. Don't feel obligated to pay any money for it. It's just a way to get it out there and get some eyes on it. Give people a chance to play the game before it gets done. I don't think there's going to be any super major changes between the rules between that and the final product, but there will be some stuff. Oh yeah, just offering to grab the link. I would appreciate that. I don't have it handy on my setup, and I don't want to touch things on my streaming computer because getting this to work, it was not easy today. It threw all sorts of curveballs at me, including just telling me it wouldn't start the stream. But the thing that finally worked, I think, was I picked a different video encoder. I don't know why that would matter, but it was an option in the settings, and I tried it, and that finally did the trick. It was either that or restarting my computer. Yeah. So yeah, Joseph's saying the preview book is good stuff. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm pretty proud of it. I'm super new at learning layout, and I don't have an art budget, and I don't really do art myself, at least not visual art. My art forms are music and role-playing games. So I basically just found a whole bunch of freely available stock art to use and put it together as best I could. Some of the placeholder art is a little bit silly. Like if you see the page for the pack horse drone, it's supposed to be like a kind of a robot mule thing, without a head or tail, but like a robot arm to help you with stuff, and basically a crate with legs. But it's a little. The picture I found was like a little. It's a little red plastic thing with wheels on it. It's looks kind of like a box. So some of the stuff is a bit out of place, but again, that's because it's an early access book, and it's all placeholder art. I have a feeling that unless we hit a way higher in the Hellslayers Kickstarter goal, I'm not going to have much available for commissioning art. So we'll probably end up using a lot of that stock art in the final product. I'm hoping to get enough at least to get a custom cover made, though. That would be really nice.
It would be kind of like tongue-in-cheek hilarious if you just did a little stick figure art of the of the drone.
If nothing else, one of my youngest son is pretty into doing pixel art. He's really good at it, and also big into Doom and stuff. So maybe I'll have some pixel art Doom themed looking stuff for some of the art pieces. But
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Joseph's saying thanks to the liminal horror folks, they learned a lot from it for their own projects. So I'm not sure what you're referring to there. I think it's I'm not sure what the liminal horror is. I'm not great with names, so I've probably run across their stuff and don't necessarily remember off the top of my head. I can look it up. I have the internet.
I wonder if...
Oh, it's a modern horror TTRPG. Okay, they can adapt to a myriad of different subgenres. It's fail forward and rules light. That sounds neat. I will have to check this out.
Fail forward. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, good for horror at least. Cool. I'll have to check that out. Thank you for that recommendation. I might as well share that link in the chat while I'm at it. Oh, learning a lot about layout from them. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was sort of trying to go off some of the layout approaches that they do in Morkborg. Not with the idea of the text is very sparse, and you have basically art on a page and one weapon, for example. Try to condense, make sure that rules parts kind of stick to one page or another. Oh, Joseph mentioning Liminal Horror has a link for game dev resources. Awesome. I will have to check that as well because that sounds useful to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't remember what I was talking about now, but that's all right. If someone wants to remind me, that's fine. Otherwise, it can just fade away. Oh,
I
no,
don't
I
know either.
was.
I was distracted by the link
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. So
Referring to Morkborg, yeah, the original Morkborg book in Cyborg as well tends to be very sparse with the text. Like they'll have like a sentence or two or maybe a paragraph per page, and just sort of the way it's visually laid out kind of conveys the mood and some of the concepts as well. And I tried to lean a bit into that with my very limited graphic arts and layout skills, which are again just barely beginning to learn that stuff this year for this product, and also have a couple of Hollow Streets products out, which those are Shadowrun product. Those are third-party Shadowrun products that I've made and put out on Drive-Thru RPG. So very Shadowrun specific. One of them is like tons and tons and tons of stat blocks for NPCs that you can use on the fly with the blocks are designed to like have the dice pulls calculated for you, so you don't have to go looking up different numbers and add them together. You can just like look, oh, that's how many dice I roll when I'm going to shoot this guy. So there's that book called Allies and Enemies, and I also have a essentially like a pre-gen character with some extras in it. That's Shadowrun Missions Legal for Social Adept. But yeah, I had to learn how to do layout to put those out. So, and those are really basic layout, just making the text work right with some little with some of the visual templates. Putting together Hellslayers is like each different page is sort of a new little art piece to put together. Though calling my work art in that context is stretching the term. Anyway, so we've got a few people showing up and hanging out in the chat. That's been nice to see. Again, this is just sort of a chill hangout Q&A stream. So if anyone has any questions for us about Hellslayers or the other tangentially related things, we talked a bit about Fragging Unicorns games and Subversion. Talking about the many podcasts and stream things that Elizabeth is doing. Actually, I'm curious. What's the Power Rangers RPG like? I've never played it.
it's a lot of fun. So it uses the Essence 20 system from Renegade Game Studios. It, there's just so much I could say. There's the book is a little kind of difficult to get through. I think that's my least favorite thing about it, is trying to like slog my way through all of the rule books, because not everything is clear as you go through it. But making the characters is fairly easy, fairly straightforward. The first character that I made, I didn't know which ranger. We didn't get to pick what ranger we were going to be, so we just kind of built our characters blind. And I don't think that I built mine correctly for the ranger that I got, but it's been fun to watch her kind of grow into it, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, it's essentially just like a D20 system, and then as you add more points into your different attributes, you roll like a D20 plus a D4 or a D8, depending on how much you add to it. And I mean, there's a lot of room for customization. So like for weapons, they have like the standard weapon list, but if you wanted to do something a little different, you could always find a weapon that kind of matches it and go off of those stats, and then you can kind of add your own flavor to it, which has been kind of fun. But I've three different Power Rangers games, plus I'm running one. And the more I play and the more I run it, the more fun the system itself gets, I think. But if you've never played Essence 20, I recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's been a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get it, it's been a lot. It's been pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the system. I think I've heard of it, but that's about it.
Yeah, it was a little weird for me at first, but once you actually get into building it, you kind of catch on pretty quick, and um,
What are some
it's
of the
just
aspects of it that are like harder to pick up on?
um, for me it was so you have like your ranger color, and then your ranger color gives you certain things. So you can say um you can pick strength or smarts or strength or speed to increase. So you have that, and then you have like an origin story, and your origin story gives you extra stuff. So it's a lot of moving parts. You have to kind of go through each one and then make sure, kind of double check and make sure your math is correct. Which I'm not the best at math. I hate math. So going through it and trying to make sure that I had all of my stats correct and my numbers right, and was a little difficult for me at first. And then I found because I've done it quite a few times at this point, I kind of found a system that works for me. Um, but that was the most frustrating part, I think, for me, is just that I had to go through and, you have your background, you have your origin, and then you have your actual ranger color, and each one of them gives you something specific, and you kind of have to add them all in to your attributes. And then just for me trying to keep track of, okay, so I need to add this many points to this on top of the points that I already have in it, and then go from there, was just kind of frustrating for me.
Yeah. Do you think there's an approach that would make it easier then, based on your experience? Said you had kind of a system that makes
Yeah,
it easier for others.
I I like taking everything kind of one at a time. So I will go, I like doing it like I'll do my origin first, and I will add everything in from my origin that I want to pick. And then I will kind of allocate those points. And then I kind of do it in chunks instead of trying to do it as so you have the four different stats, and then you have all the skills under the stats. And based on how many points you have in each stat is how many things you can increase under it. So instead of saying adding in all the points and then going back and trying to add in all of the points for the skills, I do them all at once. Like I do them in chunks. So I'll do everything for my origin, and once my origin is done, then I'll go on to the next bit, and then I'll add everything in for that, and then I'll go to my ranger thing, and I take the time to do it that way because it's just easier for me.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a little bit like a Shadowrun in that, like, there's when you're making a character, there's lots of moving parts, and some decisions can affect other ones you've made before. There's definitely things you can do that are more efficient uses of your points to get the same results, and kind of knowing how to work that and balance that out. Yeah, that's sounds like it's a bit of a crunchier game than I would have thought. I guess I think Power Rangers, I would have expected something a little bit more on the fly narrative kind of approach, but maybe that's how it works actually in play.
Yeah, I typically have a more I was not ever a huge fan of Power Rangers. Power Rangers kind of came out when I was older, so I don't know a lot of the lore. I don't know a lot of the story. Um, so I run a for fun game, and I just kind of I went to the wiki and look for things that I thought were interesting, and I kind of just pulled those into the game. And it's basically whatever they decide they want to do. I'm open
Hmm.
to moving my story. Like will plan my story around whatever it is they want to do. And then I've been playing in other games that are more regimented, and it's very, very, very story driven. Like this is a story that I'm going to tell, and this is where I'm going to lead you. Um, but I didn't have a lot of that knowledge going into it when I was running it, so I just kind of let them tell me what they want to do. I
Yeah,
make stuff up for them.
that's kind of my general approach towards game mastering most of the time. Anyways, I might like sprinkle some seeds out there and uh, see which ones lead to something, and then build off of there. But I definitely prefer uh, having it be a more player character focused experience rather than like you're experiencing the story that I'm here to present, or it's more collaborative that way. I have a lot more fun in that approach, at least. Even though sometimes you have to deal with more unexpected things, more curveballs. But that's part of the fun of it too. I think being a more improvisational GM is more my style. It used to be very much more on the prep heavy side of things, like having something laid out ahead of time. But yeah, I decided I wanted to learn how to do things more, more improvisational, and that's been my focus for quite a while.
That's how I was too when I first started. I'm very much a control freak, and I like to make sure that I know, I know the story that I want to tell, and then just in case somebody decides to go somewhere else, I want to make sure that I have plans for that. And like I would try to think of everything that my players could potentially want to do or um, throw at me, so that I could prepare for it and have notes on every single like encounter that they could possibly think of. But that's just a lot of work. And I was like, it just got to the point where I'm just going to go with whatever you say and I will just make it up as we go.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and a lot of it just doesn't end up getting used because they end up not doing a lot of those things.
Exactly.
And a lot of times they're going to pick something that you didn't anticipate for. And I think even if you're anticipating something, you as a GM are more likely to try to steer the players towards something rather than sort of being open to seeing what craziness they're going to inject into the world themselves.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think this is a discussion of a right or wrong way to do things, but that's definitely where I lean with my preferences for both playing and GMing. I'd rather have that more open kind of way of doing things where you can, as players, do whatever you decide, and the GM's going to be there to deal with that and and react to what you're doing and give you your consequences and present new dilemmas. Give you a menu of options to choose from, but like not force you to pick the mac and cheese if that's not what you want.
Exactly.
Not that I have anything against mac and cheese, by the way. But sometimes you want I don't know, something else. Anyway,
exactly.
I think we'll probably wrap up in a little bit here. So if anyone in the chat has any questions or anything you want to say before we sign off, make sure to get those in sooner rather than later. This has been fun hanging out with you, Opti and Elizabeth. And
you too.
Appreciate you joining me for this. And,
of course.
As far as streaming things in the future, I'm going to be doing a stream tomorrow evening, just hanging out with Opti and or Rem. Not sure if we're going to be all hanging out at the same time or popping in and out. We'll figure it out. It's going to be another somewhat more chill stream, except that if I can get the tech to work, I may play some classic Doom on stream as well and just hang out and chat and see how that goes. But Elizabeth, you had a stream you're doing tomorrow night too. Do you want to tell them about that in case they'd rather check that out, or maybe just put two different streams on two different computers?
Yeah, I will be over on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Master of Rem. We will be there. We start at 6 Central, so 7 Eastern Standard Time. And we will be playing Power Rangers Centurion.
Awesome. Opti, you got any things you want to plug or talk about or point people towards?
No. I mean, you can always go to fraggingunicorns.com and buy some Fraggy merch or some other cool shirts we've been toying around with, or some Gangs of the Undercity like gang merch, or just general like cool stuff. Otherwise, just keep your ears and eyes open for some Subversion updates, and we'll definitely have some stuff heading into the new year with news about some new Kickstarter projects.
Awesome. And yeah, I guess please tell your friends about Hellslayers if you're watching. Spread the word. Let them know it's getting close to the end here, so they've been waiting to put a pledge in. Now's the time, and hopefully we can hit some of those stretch goals. I'm going to check in to see if we've jumped up at all.
I think it's still the same.
Yeah, no more movement yet, so that's all right. We'll get there. I think we'll hit. I think we're likely to hit the psychic stretch goal, but I'd really love to see some of the other ones too. Like I think what is the next one? Pulling up my stretch goals here. I should know this, I guess, but I have computers to remember things for me.
It's like new weapons added.
Oh yeah, new weapons. That's the next one at 7,000. I think we have a reasonable chance of hitting that. We have a nice end of stream push or end of campaign push. The Rogue AI faction would be fun.
Yeah, the original soundtrack, I'm jumping ahead, would be super cool.
Yep. I don't expect us to hit that, I think, at this
stage. But I've heard the stuff that you can make, and that would just be an amazing thing.
It would be fun. I think I'm going to collab with my youngest son, who does like some Doom music himself, and other things, to probably make like even just one song if we don't hit the soundtrack goal. But yeah, it would have been cool to have that stretch goal hit. Well, it might still happen. You never know. But I think check in with the chat here to see if there's been any questions.
Oh, it just went up again.
I did.
We are at 5,998. We are $2
away.
I feel like we should hang out on the stream a little bit longer.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going anywhere now.
I'm gonna fix that real quick. Hold on. There we go. Oh wait,
I'm gonna give it.
We're so close. We're just about to hit that stretch. Oh, hey! Somebody just knew. Yeah,
hey, there it is. Thank you
so much, whoever did that, and everyone else who pledged.
Psychic powers.
Yeah, psychic is now going to be a thing. So that's official. You have made Clockwork happy, and thank you, Carlos. I think you might have been one of the new backers. I'm actually looking at the backer list just seeing it pop in the chat. So. Sweet. That's a really wonderful note to end the stream on is hitting our first stretch goal. So, yay, psychic powers. The psychic MOS is going to be in there. Going to add a whole new dimension to the game with just a new stuff. We got some ideas on stream with some of y'all for the psychic powers. And, we have another stretch goal to look forward to, which is new weapons included. I was pretty vague about that because honestly I don't know what I'm going to include at this point. I feel like there's already a lot of cool weapons, but I want to add some weird stuff, like not just shoot something and do damage, but like I don't know, like make enemies stick together or push them around or pull them or I don't know what else, but just some other like cool and weird things that give you some different tactical options besides just doing damage. Maybe some like a more advanced, crazy high-tech stuff. Maybe a portal gun. I probably can't call it a portal gun, but whatever. I can reference that because I want to say Half-Life is definitely one of the influences of Hellslayers as well, and Portal is Half-Life adjacent. So
yeah.
The gravity gun in Half-Life. That's another one that could be useful. Anyway, just some cool, weird weapons and stuff. I'll only have to come up with them if we hit the stretch goal. So I'm hoping y'all will. Do
you remember the first Mega Man where the first guy usually that people went through was Cuts Man, and he just had this giant like Pac-Man blade that just flew out in a circle so we have a huge just like half saw blade just fly out in a boomerang motion. That's what I want.
Right.
Cutting the heads off of space Nazis.
The decapitator. Or the Vorpal launcher. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we'll well, if we hit that stretch goal, I'll have to come up with some new weapons, and they'll be fun ones. I think not that shooting aliens and stuff with a shotgun isn't fun, but yeah, stuff with a little bit more of a twist to it. So maybe even some
Novelty is
silly
great.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, I think we are going to say goodnight to you all, and I will see some of you tomorrow. And Elizabeth, I will see you. I think Sunday we're recording Scum and Villainy this week,
Yep.
so if all goes well, we'll be playing some of that. And I will be a lot less stressed out because even though I've been taking this fairly easy, I think I've been trying to avoid the Kickstarter stress. You can't avoid it entirely.
Yeah.
Putting your ideas and games out in the world and seeing if they will fund. Oh, hey, it's Rem just joining.
Definitely stressful.
At the end of the stream. So, but yes, psychic powers are a thing. We hit the first stretch goal. Woo!
Yay.
And with that, I'll say goodnight and thank you all for joining me, both you in the stream and you out there in the chat.